First off, Happy New Year, everybody. Hopefully 2021 will be a better year than 2020. This is my first video of the year, and basically this is just a time lapse of me using the Hudson Badger. And in the time lapse, you can really see how good it works. I don't have the patience to watch long videos, so I'm going to try to keep this pretty short. I do a lot of time lapsing for that reason. I don't have a lot to say about certain things, so kind of let the time lapse speak for itself. But this moves along pretty quick in time lapse anyway, and all these log syrups up the big one that I got stuck yesterday. After this, I time lapse stacked those as well. So hope you enjoy. And then after that, I get the big log yesterday that I got stuck. I pulled it out with the Ventrac, which kind of impressed me. I thought I'd need a skid steer, but I didn't. Spin it around, send it back up the firewood processor with the Ventrac, hook onto it, and then I slice off the little limbs and nubs that are keeping it from going through. We send that up. We send up another good size oak, and then I send up a smaller cherry that's been down a while, and it's actually fully seasoned. After that, after splitting it and processing it, I stack it and clean up the mess. And at the end, you'll see all the mess ends up going into my wood boiler. So nothing really goes to waste. I'll probably end up putting the sawdust in there too. So it's really not worth anything since it's got a little bit of bar oil in it. So anyhow, hope you enjoy. Hope everybody has a great new year. Here you can see me just stacking all the wood up that I had split. That pile took me about, I want to say, probably half hour to make. And I wish I knew exactly how much wood was there. I was thinking it was like a face cord. I don't know. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less. I'm not good at measuring quantities of wood. I wish I knew it was in that pile there, but I don't. I think after today's splitting, I think there's about 1.5 cords, but I don't know. So anyhow, I just try to get this done right away, because if I let it sit there in a pile, I know I won't want to stack it. So do it right away, get it stacked, and get it drying. That's my motto anyway. And a lot of this stuff is oak. It's pretty wet. It's going to take a while to season. Being January, it'll probably be ready for next winter, I'm thinking. Anyhow, hope you enjoy. Here I'm picking up all the scraps. Every time I use the processor, it seems like I have a full Ventrac bucket worth of scraps. And I throw them right in my wood boiler, and nothing wasted. As you can see, the bucket's full. And bring it right down, throw it into my wheelbarrow, and just slide it up in the boiler. I burn all that stuff, and it burns up pretty good. This is one of the blown down maples I drug up there with my Ventrac the other day. It's not that great. It was dead for a while, and it's got spots that are a little bit punky, and that's why it's going in a boiler. All that crap, anything that's not great, all goes right in the outdoor wood boiler. With a hot bed of coals, it'll burn anything. And this stuff's really not bad. I just couldn't ever sell this firewood. So the Ventrac goes, and down we go to the boiler. You can never ever have too much boiler wood. These things are hungry. They eat a lot of wood. This Ventrac does a great job of maneuvering logs around. I'm very impressed by it. I'm trimming down just enough so this thing will fit through the opening of the firewood processor. Try to fit this through again. Took off that cookie. That one. Right here. And here. I think it'll fit through. We'll try again. I end up fighting with this log because I don't have it in the proper orientation. The part that's on the bottom should be on the side. Because it was so high, the saw wouldn't go through all the way. That's my own fault. If I'd have spun the log around so the hump was on the bottom, that wouldn't have happened. So I blame me. I'll just finish it with a saw. That wood pile grows really fast when you're processing those larger logs. I have a 4-way head on there, a wedge, and it would be nice to have the optional 6. Because I have to resplit a lot of it because the pieces are just a little bit too big for my liking. But that pile grows real fast with those big logs. I could have used the Ventrac here, but I chose the skid steer. I didn't want to drag the logs around the mud any more than I had to. This wood is kind of dirty, and the chainsaw blade has held up remarkably well considering all the mud I've put through it. So I didn't want to make it any worse than it already was. I'm amazed at how much sawdust this thing produces. That pile, I've dumped it 3 times now. And every time I'm done with it, there's a huge pile there. You can see when I get to the end of this log, it takes a little more time to push the last two pieces through because you cannot use the winch. I'm getting better at it, and I'm learning how to guesstimate the length of the last piece and cut off what I need to off the leading edge instead of letting it go out too far and fall down when it's too long. Alright, I'm all finished. This last piece of cherry I cut was just starting to rot on the outside, but man, it is beautiful. It's ready to burn now. It doesn't need any more seasoning. I mean, look at this stuff. It's just beautiful. Doesn't need anything. I should separate that. It does not need to be seasoned. It's dry. The oak, that's a different story. But I don't know how long I ran this thing for. Maybe 20 minutes, half an hour. That's about as fast as I'll ever run it. I'm not going to kill myself, but not a lot of physical work. Hardest part's hooking up the cable and getting the logs lined up to go in. I did end up getting that big guy through. I had one spot where not stopped this thing in its tracks. It's the only time it's ever stopped it. So just something to be careful with. And I had the 4-way wedge up at the time. I'm sure if I had it down, I would have went right through it. I backed it up, used a little splint, and pushed the one side of it through, and then I was rolling again. So not a big deal, just still learning the way this machine works. So anyhow, I'm happy with this thing for what it is and what it does. This is a pretty good sized wood pile considering I only put 3 logs through there. And 2 of them were oak, 1 was cherry. The cherry was really good, nice and dry. The oak is wet. It's going to take a while to season. But I got this finished up. That's just 2 rows deep, like 16.5-inch logs. So it's like 33 inches, and I believe it's about 16 feet long and probably an average of 5 feet high. So I'll have to guesstimate the amount of wood I've got there. I'd like to find out. I think it's 1.5 cord, 2 cord. I don't know. And again, here I'm cleaning up all the little mess. And this little bit off there creates like a full bucket in the Ventrac every time I do it. And I go down and take that down and burn that just like I did yesterday. I'll burn that later on when it gets dark out because it's a little smoky for the first 5 minutes. I hope the last 2 videos I made on the Hudson Badger are useful to anyone looking for one of these units. I couldn't find many videos on them other than those produced by salesmen.